Barcelona do the inevitable by beating Real Madrid to clinch back-to-back La Liga titles, and Arsenal, like the ski mask he's wearing, controversially sneaked away with 3 points at the London Stadium against West Ham. Welcome back to another episode of Ball IQ Podcast. Tolu, Real Madrid fan, a sad Real Madrid fan, and the guy in the shiesty.
So fun back from
Watch
my,
out,
my
bro. Watch out.
Nelson back from my trip uh to Europe. Went to go see London, got myself a fresh kit, saw the bridge. Chelsea fan as always.
Chelsea fans always welcome back. You picked heck of 2 weeks to go on your vacation. I mean I heard we heard I mean I heard about your vacation. It was worth it for sure. But those not semi-final games. Uh, the one semi-final tie, the PSG Bayern, because the other one was a snooze fest. But that PSG Bayern game, particularly the first leg, was
Let's box office.
box office.
I was in London at the time and I was watching that game. It was a crisp London night. And we as I was walking home,
First of
every
all,
bar,
when did you start using words like crisp? What's going on here?
you know, man's international and all that. Check the statistics.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
But no, it was a crisp night. And just everywhere we passed, we could just see everybody huddled around in the pubs watching the game, which was cool.
Yeah,
As opposed to it being 3:30 in the afternoon
at
for
work.
us in the States. Yeah. And nobody really caring, or you're at the office and you're like, come on. So really, really great game to watch. Player of the season, uh, in my mind, has to be, or the tournament, one of the highlight, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, he's been on
What a player.
smoke. He's been on smoke.
Obviously Dembele as well, but
Nah,
you know,
I would lean more Vicha. I think Dembele's name would might carry him through, but Vicha home and away. I think in the second leg, in the IQ deep dive of the last episode, um, I was showing how Fabian Ruiz's inclusion back into the 11 for PSG, kind of like just you see that Kimmich Pavlovic dominance they're doing against Madrid. They shut all that stuff down. And
mm,
Fabian Ruiz went to the left to occupy Lima. So every time in that game, if you notice, Vicha Kvaratskhelia was one-on-one with Upamecano. Like, why is and
yeah,
he
easy
cooked
money.
easy money. He cooked him bad. But anyway, that was
Yeah,
um
people forget about that horror. I mean, Upamecano is playing well now,
yeah,
but that horror shock season under Thomas Tuchel,
super, yeah.
shocking form. So he has that in his locker to get exposed, and I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of those like Bale versus Mike Conn almost type
Yeah. Yeah.
situations where you just don't have the facilities for
Yeah,
that.
you
Um,
ain't got the capabilities for sure. But yeah, welcome back, man. Like I was saying in the last episode, I'm like, no, why would you leave now? Not now.
I
But
mean.
anyway, welcome
And
back.
there's plenty of I tuned in as a loyal subscriber, which all you guys should do, like and subscribe.
Yeah, the guy.
Um, but yeah, you held it down really well, breaking down some of the biggest matchups that we've seen all season. So it was really good to see that. And I was watching, it was good because I didn't really have to answer for some of the shambolic form of my club. I think during that time, during my absence, we were able to beat Leeds 1-0 at Wembley, which was nice. But other than that, I think we lost to United.
Forest
We got touched up by Forest. Um,
and Liverpool.
well, yeah, Liverpool. Yeah. hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, I watched that game. I was back in the States, but
Yeah.
that game was, winnable. It was a, stoppable force versus a movable object. The
Hmm.
battle of mid, as they say. Um, And I do think the goal that was ruled offsides that Cole Palmer scored,
Yes,
it's a it's a real
that was
it's a real pity that didn't go in. I think that would have
yeah,
been really big for him and his form going into the FA Cup.
yeah,
You could see how big of a lift it was for him to get on the score sheet.
yeah.
Because it's been, I mean, I think it's been ages, February, March, since he's really been a contributor. So it was a pity to see that goal
Chalked off.
marked off,
Yeah.
and the first goal that Liverpool scored. Um, it's also a pity to see.
Who,
Um,
who scored for Liverpool?
I think it was Ryan Gravenberch
Oh yeah, that was a good goal.
distance.
Yeah, that was a good goal.
You see, it was a good goal,
But
but I've
it was
watched it.
savable. I'll give you that.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was
That's all.
savable.
That's all. That's all. Because, there was plenty, Chelsea goalkeepers have been on the receiving end of several wonderful goals, but,
I know it.
but, yeah, all right, let me land. But what I will say is, like, there's a difference between Petr Cech getting scored on by Papis Cisse. Was
Yeah.
it in there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Papis yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. Wonderful goal. There's a difference between that and a Kepa Arrizabalaga biscuit hands where you savable, reachable. You got your hands on it, but you've now given Mohamed Salah, you've now given whatever player of the week,
Nico
um,
O'Reilly.
Harvey Barnes,
Nico
uh,
O'Reilly in the
yeah,
Carabao Cup.
Kenny Con, Anthony Gordon. You give these people moments because you just play like goalies like Philip Jorgensen, savable,
Hmm.
and you just don't really, um, you do all the theatrics, but you don't really get to it. So that was my opinion of that one. Savable. Robert Sanchez took a really big knock in the game against. Ooh, why am I blanking? They're running to, I think it was the Forest game because Morgan Gibbs White also was
Oh yes,
affected,
yes,
and
yes,
and Jesse Derry was also
yes.
seriously hurt. Our academy player was getting his debut, got knocked, took a really serious knock. So, but Robert Sanchez has a massive gash on his head. He's a pretty serious doubt for the FA Cup final this weekend, which would be a massive miss because, again, Chelsea was doing well I maintain Chelsea was doing well against PSG until the 70th minute, and that
Yeah, it
was
was like
largely to do with a shambolic performance by Philip Jorgensen, like apocalyptic 20 minutes.
yeah.
So, I'm worried about what that guy I don't wish any ill will on him. I just don't think
Oh
he
Lord.
has I don't think he has the minerals.
When you
I
say
don't
I
think he
don't
has
wish
the
any will, I'm like, oh Lord, where are you going with
I
this?
I just don't think he has the minerals for it.
Don't worry,
Um
we'll talk more about it. Let's get through my shambolicness.
Yeah. Oh man, fella. Oh yeah, Madrid, Madrid, Madrid.
Let's get through my shambolicness because I
Y
mean
nada más.
a lot has happened. I'll first get through the game, then kind of like run through what's been happening, right? So the game, Barca, played Ferran Torres. The surprise because Yamal was hurt is Rashford has been playing on the right. Last game I saw him play on the right. He delivered a cross for Lewandowski to score the winner, and this game he scores a wonderful free kick, of course. Fermin plays on the left, which is interesting. He usually plays the 10-ish role, but Olmo, who I thought was fantastic, played it as a 10, then kind of like a mini double pivot of Gavi and Pedri, who was also fantastic. So that's their like front five, or yeah, front five, and then they put Eric Garcia as right back to do it. Vinny, um, Cancelo left back, and their two center back pairings per usual. So the thing Barcelona did well was pressing. Real Madrid, we usually do this thing of trying to see, especially in big games, trying to see what will work. We'll try a multitude of approaches. We can start from like short passing, or sometimes we just go long on the wing. Usually, in recent times, it's been Fede that will play right mid, but due to some UFC action,
Mhm.
he was not available. So every long ball we couldn't really win, and we're forced to play short most of the time. And their press was so effective that the release was usually Jude, who was like in the left, left central midfield area. And every time he got the ball, he had like one or two players. They knew what we were trying to do, so he had like one or two players on him and got dispossessed a couple times. Even though he had a decent game, got dispossessed a couple times. So the only times I would win the ball is say a second ball here, or the few times we dispossessed them. So I think them pressing us was really the game plan for the first like 20 minutes, and they sucked us out. And when they got the ball and in their own half, say off a goal kick or whatever, when we pressed them, they got out of our press so easy. It was kind of bad how bad they got out of the press. Because one thing, even though he had a good game, it was clear that they were targeting Trent in right back. So we'll be like up high like this. And what Pedri would do is like feint, fake, like draw either Chouameni or Camavinga towards him, to leave just this space for Firmino to run at Trent. And there would just be some long ball from either the center back or Cancelo or Pedri himself or Gavi, and it's like off to the races. Now, to be fair to Trent, his 1v1 battles were pretty decent. But you can tell that they were targeting there. And the reason why they were targeting there as well, in my opinion, is because Asensio was playing right center back with Trent. Asensio is
Mm.
aggressive defender, wants to get on the ball, like wants to make a tackle, but like the art of defending is not when your man is right in front of you. It's like understanding where you are. Are you supposed to be here? Are you not supposed to be here? And he doesn't have that ball IQ, pun intended, yet. Because, for example, for the second goal, I think it was Fermi, um, Dani Olmo was here, and Ferran Torres was here, and Rashford was here, and Cancelo had the ball on this side, and the run that's so Ferran Torres comes and he switches to his man, Asensio. Then Dani Olmo runs and gets the ball. Lovely pass into him. And he turns and faces Dani Olmo, ignoring the run of Ferran Torres. And Dani Olmo just, lovely hit back heel assist and scores a goal. That second goal just epitomizes why he probably doesn't start and is probably not of the quality to be a starter for Real Madrid. So that was disappointing. Obviously, Marcus Rashford scored a wonderful goal, the first goal. But even how they won the free kick was again how Barcelona doing what they do best, uh, maintaining possession in the right spaces. Dani Olmo was somewhere around here, I believe, and it was Camavinga was here. So Ferran Torres comes from the defenders to come and receive the ball here. But nobody tells Camavinga that, this guy is coming. And he receives the ball
Mm.
here and turns into space and wins a foul here. So that's another breakdown in communication. Now, all this happened in like 10, 15 minutes of the game. And ever since then, it was just cold sailing. And cold sailing, I can't even speak. I'm that heartbroken. But it was just smooth sailing. And Real Madrid were trying to do this, their usual thing where they defend in a 4-4-2, and Jude comes back here and in the left mid, and they try and defend 4-4-2 deep. But again, we don't have the profile to defend like this, because this versus this, Barcelona are just too good to to play 1v1 when they have the ball. They will just play circles around you. And when you have Vinny, who's not, he does decent repressing, but he's not really like great at understanding presses. It just makes it worse. So like, we definitely missed Valverde in the middle from that engine. First off, on the ball to kind of like release the press because Valverde, think of the Champions League final against Liverpool, the last one, the Benzema season, where like Liverpool are also great in pressing. You can just give him the ball like a running back, or is there a running back? And he would just run through all your press. We had no way to
Mm,
get that press. So, um,
yeah.
I mean, the game epitomized Barca's superiority over us. Um, and yeah, so that's really the story of the game. If we pressed high, like I showed earlier, they'll just beat us down the line. If we stayed in low block, they just pass through it, and there was nothing we can do to stop them. Now, onto the the mess that's happening in Real Madrid. So last week, before after I recorded, Mbappe has been catching some flack. He's been out of town, even though he's been given permission to leave, but aesthetically not looking good. He was back in training just before Clásico, then um, opts out because of his injury, not feeling fit. Now he wants to play the last three games of the season. So there's some reports, I don't know how believable they are, but there's some reports that he was supposed to start from the bench and he didn't want to. Again,
Mm.
take that as a pinch of salt. But that signature that I mentioned I mean, the petition that I mentioned last episode, so it was 17 million or something. It's the single highest petition in history. Um,
Well,
even though, I mean, there are a lot of, a lot of people will be taking the piss, but it does say something in my opinion. And he, the guy is a weird guy because he then posts about his support for the game when we were 2-0 down. He takes a photo and posts it on Instagram and says Hala Madrid or White Hart. Then the next day he posts that he's in the gym. Then today, at time of recording, he posts like training photo of the winning team. And a good number of his team in the winning team are players that have been like having issues, like him, Ceballos, are the two notable ones. So he's been moving kind of tone deaf, but I want to give you like room to speak on this because a lot has happened, like I said, since you've been gone. What are your thoughts on obviously Mbappe, Real Madrid, one, his decisions this last couple of weeks, two, and where to go from here?
I in my opinion, I think the game this weekend it very much epitomized the the place, the gap between Real Madrid and their contemporaries in the league, most specifically Barcelona, their arch nemesis. There's never really a lower point than to watch your rivals win the league in your face like that. And I think the good thing about all these negative things happening at Real Madrid is that Real Madrid has always been a club that responds with action when things don't go well. It's not as if they're going to completely crumble or capitulate. There's rumors of, things that are going to be done. I think there was a press conference as of recording this afternoon that kind of addressed um, a lot of what's been going on in the back room and the leaks and the lack of professionalism that we're seeing from what is typically a iron tight locker room. You know, uh, it's hearing tales of fights, players having to come out with statements about
Mm,
altercations, and just ultimately the lack of respect, like seemingly respect that this manager is getting from the players. I think he's lost control of the locker room in a way. Um, and in terms of Kylian Mbappe, what we're seeing is something I've been speaking on, and we've touched on several times together on this show. I mean, he has it's a personality problem that I don't know. There's a reckoning that needs to happen, and it doesn't sound like he's any closer to that reckoning that we were hoping we would see in terms of like a moment of reflection that would come as a result of this, you know,
The lacking.
obvious obvious pattern in the sense that he's the common denominator in his team's not achieving European glory or achieving all there is to achieve at the club level. And he is the common denominator. You mentioned how how cohesive Barcelona was moving this weekend, and it was obvious to see. Mbappe is responsible for the vast majority of the goals that have been scored with Real Madrid
Hmm.
the past while he's been there, but they're not a winning team.
Yeah.
So without him, yeah, they might play a little bit better, but there's like because they've played under this regime, there's a lot of memes about
Yeah, this.
the power that you know, that Mbappe has held in terms of him being a world leader,
The world leader, world dictator.
dictator. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, he's literally killing the dictator. So the fact that he is moving this way and has moved this way, there's a pattern in terms of his discipline. It's kind of sad to see a team like Madrid have to kind of go through this, uh, you know, this situation, but at the same time, it was, I remember how much was done in public to try and get this player to come to the club, and how jubilant everyone was jubilating. "Ah!"
Listen,
Mhm.
I was one of them. In my head, I was like, you people are finished. That's
Nah,
what I thought in my head. I'm like,
I
you
think
guys are finished.
football ain't it something? I think
Crazy.
ain't it something this game because Chelsea has spent close to a billion, if not more, at this point on assembling a squad that is struggling to make Europe. Has been left out of Europe more than it's been involved in Europe in the past 5 years, in
Mm.
terms of the Champions League level. You see what Liverpool did in terms of the cash outlay last summer, and the no payoff. It's been dysfunction since, and then obviously Mbappe was paid not a PSG was not paid anything, but he himself and Real Madrid has kind of reshaped to trying to be a super team under him with him and with the addition of him, a player like him. You don't really need him. Did you not just win a Champions League? Like, that type of um, thought process. You broke something that was working in order to try and take the world by storm. So what I think um, in terms of the 3 games left and all of that. What we're seeing is it kind of it's upsetting at this point of the season where there's nothing to play for, and you notice the players that you really care about kind of switch off and start thinking about themselves, thinking about the World Cup, obviously. I think
And
playing
the
the next three,
Pichichi. He's trying to
say
win
again.
and the Pichichi, he's trying to win the top goal scorer. That's why he wants to play against Real of the year.
So stat padding and thinking about the national team over or you kind of being checked out. I think Mark Cucurella has been checked out. There's I think Wesley Fofana has been checked out. There's Enzo Fernandez is playing his ass off, but is he playing for us or is he playing for a contract or is he playing to become a lot? I think he's a locked in starter for Argentina with the form of Alexi McAllister this
Yeah.
season. But I think you still have to play your way into a squad, a side like that. And when your team is playing, when it's this dark at your club, a club like Liverpool right now, a club like Liverpool in a way. Real Madrid for sure and Chelsea for sure. You watch those players kind of get switched off. Konate is another name
Mm.
at Liverpool who's I don't know where his head is. Staggering, shocking, change of form between this season and last season in terms of Van Dijk and Konate. But at this point in the season, you see players like that kind of switch off, and it's it's a it's a really a big shame because Madrid is. I've never seen. I haven't seen this amount of drama coming from the club. I mean, this is dramatic. There's a lot of theater, but this is like even Chelsea. There's been a couple of locker room bust-ups, a couple,
Mm.
um, but this is pretty public.
Yeah, I think that's the shame of it, how public it is. And one thing about the press conference that you announced, you talked about earlier, was the one thing, one of the things that I agreed with Fiorentino Perez is those things, I mean, those things happen all the time, like bust ups. I remember John Obi Mikel saying that, oh, we used to fight every day at Chelsea kind of thing. But he did mention that the person that leaked the information was leaving at the end of the season and wasn't happy about it. I don't know who he's referring to, but I know we didn't really say it, but obviously Tchouaméni and Valverde had a bust up, and you know, all around this mole in the squad in the camp, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. But the last thing I'll ask you briefly, so because we have to move on, is Jose to Madrid is growing some legs. I've given my thoughts on it already. I said like maybe he's the person that particularly Killian would listen to in terms of positionally. But the way he handled old boy at Benfica still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But he does have the biggest ego, so I don't know how if that's like putting water in hot oil or I don't know. What do you think?
I think, yeah, let's talk about managers next season because I think both of our clubs, there's a couple of movements that are permutations, I'd say, that are going to occur.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty interesting, just all the movement based off of the amount of talent available. But Jose Mourinho to Real Madrid, in my opinion, in terms of all the disciplinary nonsense, the divas, the the loss of identity, um, the last stint that Jose had at Real Madrid and the way that they were playing, um, all those and the transition from kind of washing out the Jabi Alonso, Arbeloa
yeah,
era. They need. There's just no discipline in that locker room, as evidenced by this whole
yeah,
situation. So I think they very much need authoritarian. These are established players who don't need development, in my opinion. I think Jose to a club like Chelsea would be terrible because he doesn't hold hands. Even at a club like even Arsenal, I think there's a little bit there's actually that's like Arsenal's like a summer camp over there. Like they're all
what's that supposed to mean?
they do activities and stuff. The light bulb thing. You've seen all the
Oh, the
videos.
TikTok and
It's
the
mad corny over there, bro. It's mad
yeah.
corny. They do a lot of things to like that. Do you think Jose would do any of those like
Chelsea
group
is
building
back.
retreats and stuff? Nah, man, nah. So I think it's unique. I think it's like right now they're at Benfica is in like almost an invincible. I mean, I know they're
Yeah.
not going to make Europe. I think from what I looked at, or
Mhm.
Champions League. They might make Europe, but I don't think they're going to make Champions League just because their form is good, but they've drawn so
So
many
many games.
games.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Um, but I think it would be a great
Dobby.
pickup. To get you, even if it's, I think, he's got one more. I know that in the group chat, one of the discussions that we had in the past was Is Jose finished? Does he
Yeah,
have one more in him? I've always said, like, I mean, he's still got it. I would have him at
I
my
think so.
club. I think he's always and forever special. I think his tactics, a mind like that, like tactics, he's seen it all. He'll just know what to employ in that moment. I think he's available. I think he's able to do that just like any of the best, like with almost some of the best. He's the best coach at doing less
Mm.
or doing more with less.
Mm.
One of the best coaches.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
if you buy in, um, you know, but on my end, Chelsea is very much looking for a new coach. There's the gaffer at Bournemouth. What's his name?
Areola.
Areola.
Yeah,
Um, he's in the talks in the mix. I think you've heard murmurs about Crystal Palace, him being interested
Gladman.
in him, but him wanting to kind of see if where we Chelsea kind of falls in the mix if we're interested or not. Um, Marco Silva is also rumored to leave Fulham. You know, people have said that he's got an aura about him. Obviously, I think one of the interesting things to kind of keep track of is Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes represents both Marco Silva and Jose Mourinho. So, and if Jose goes to Real Madrid, Marco Silva will likely maybe be interested in the Benfica job.
Mm.
Um, it's just kind of cool how everybody is kind of represented by the same person
Yeah,
eventually, or all roads lead to Rome in some way.
yeah.
Um, so there's that, and then obviously, like I said, Javi Alonso to Chelsea is something that's gathering steam, um, and I would think it would be, still an outside chance, but I think in terms of molding a team, playing with wing backs, um, because we our wingers right now, we spent so much money, bro. I can't even tell you, but if I didn't have to see another left winger for a season, I'm cool. Like that's fine because you can't tell me Gittins, Mudryk is a complete abject failure.
Mm.
Um, that left side is probably Garnacho is probably going to be flipped in the summer. So that's anyway. Switching to a wing back system, which has been successful for us in the past, not mad at it.
Mm.
Javi Alonso was pretty good at that with Leverkusen. And
And with
just
Madrid in the Club World Cup, he did that too. Yeah.
so I just think that that would be something, it would be a move that obviously would upset Liverpudlians, Liverpool fans. But again, I think he needs to I mean, he has money in the bank, still has respect of world football, but I think he kind of needs to clean his shirt a little
His
bit.
rep,
He got
his
he,
rep.
he got unceremoniously tossed from Real Madrid in 8 months.
Mm.
It's not cool. It's not cool. So you kind of need to build it back up. You know, think of you know go somewhere. It's kind of like Carlo Ancelotti went to Everton and then came back to maybe he'll go back to Real Madrid or maybe he'll go to Liverpool eventually.
Oh,
But you need to kind of
it's funny you said
build it back up.
that. That is what Ancelotti did from Everton to back to Madrid is kind of similar to Mourinho, where it's like even though Mourinho's
Been
taking quote
everywhere.
unquote lesser clubs has been a longer stretch, but it'll be interesting if he comes back and boom back in the top. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I think that game, Liverpool versus Chelsea, like I said, it was kind of interesting to see because I think if we had beaten Liverpool, Arne Slot is definitely probably in the hot seat. I don't know if they're keeping him. There hasn't been any rumors. I mean, the fans want him kind of gone because they don't like the way that they've been playing and how far they've fallen, and how unexciting the team is. But I think there's a lot to do with the fatigue, that some of these players that they've been there for, they're in their late 20s. They've been running for a long time. It's hard to keep that up, let me tell you. So you're seeing a lot of that. But at the same time, I think if Liverpool had lost, Arne Slot's in the hot seat. and they're probably looking at Xabi Alonso, but with a draw, they're happy, with to keep on a slot, I think. Um, Chelsea with a draw is looking like they might miss out on Champions League or Europe. Most likely will miss out on Champions League. Um, and that's pretty big of a deal in terms of uh, what type of manager we can recruit and would be interested in coming to our club. Um, it was a big game to watch for all the ramifications for the summer and whatnot. But
Hmm.
long story short, I think Xabi Alonso is my pick. Um, I think the Bournemouth manager, Areola, would be a good pick as well, but I don't think we give him enough time to actually cook.
Yeah,
Um,
he doesn't have the rep that Alonso has.
he just doesn't, you know. I think it would be a bad fit for like our club hierarchy and all that stuff. I really think if we gave Javi Alonso some the space to cook, um, I think the club still has about 150 million in assets, maybe 120 million in sellable players this summer. That's just what I think
Hmm.
that we can move, but still keep the heart and soul of the squad. I think Pedro Neto should go. I think Garnacho should go. I think there's plenty of players that we can part with um, and generate money to be able to bring in frugal acquisitions that are, you know, over the age of 25 that Javi Alonso can work with, that bring experience to the side. Um, you could, there's plenty of players. But anyway, I think we shall see, man. We shall see. There's nothing to do but be hopefully optimistic about the summer, and pray for Saturday, I believe, in the FA Cup final versus
FA Cup
Manchester
final.
City.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that happens. It will be obviously City are massive favorites, but it would be out of this world to see a Chelsea win in the final. The final is the final. But going into staying in England, the only other thing that I wanted to just state, well, two other things, because I have to get to the Arsenal game. Um, Number one, Kinski, the Tottenham goalkeeper. I remember when you and I were looking at Igor Tudor, like, why would you give this guy his debut away at the Metropolitano? Like, why would you do that? And he, made the two mistakes, cost his team pretty much the tie. But his redemption since then, particularly this
Mhm.
last game against Leeds, that shows a lot of mental strength, and I just wanted to give him a shout out and show some respects because you and I spoke about it when after the Atletico game that a lot of keepers don't come back from that kind of experience. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
give him a quick shout out because he's been holding them down. Really quick, Doku's been on fire, which is weird because I've never seen him as on this kind of goal scoring
yeah,
streak. But
that's the problem.
yeah, it is.
Inevitability, really. Like,
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to focus on Holland, and then
Then
Doku's probably going to
Doku is
it's
gonna
going to
cook.
kill us, or Semenyo will kill us.
Yeah, we'll see. And
And
lastly,
Chelsea's lost 7 Wembley finals in a row, I think.
oh Lord, you guys are finished. But I was going to talk about the Arsenal West Ham drama. Um, this game, like 2 seasons ago, was the game. I think it was 2-2 or something like that.
Hmm.
And that was the game that made Arsenal fall off the title race or the start of the fall off 2 seasons ago. So it was a very pivotal game. West Ham are playing to stay in the top division. Arsenal are playing to win the league, so they can't afford to slip up. Um, and it looked dodgy at first until Odegaard comes in. Nice little interplay with Rice sets up Trossard, good goal. But the topic is Callum Wilson's goal. Now, Real's foul. But the problem is Arsenal have been committing that same foul all season and hasn't been called. So the right decision was made. And if I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't care. But it just has to be said that that foul that was given for Arsenal has been um like permitted when Arsenal commit that same foul. What are your thoughts on this? Really quick, because I know you can go deep into this. They went shiesty on
I really prefer not to speak.
him. You be why
Um,
why do you prefer not to
because if I speak, I will be in big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
speak? Okay.
Because the reality of the situation is I've been screaming from the mountaintops about what I've seen. I've seen foul play in the box. I've seen set piece behavior. I've seen haram ball. I've seen WWE formations on corner kicks, and I've seen them like evangelize their set piece coach as
Coach,
if he's
yeah.
a manager
Yeah.
because he's doing evil things. So I you know if I say things, people are gonna say, "Oh, Nelson, you're being this." You're being that."
Chelsea
I
fan
just I
hate.
just want
Yeah.
I just want you to know, like these things I've been saying, just because they become in vogue now. I, you know, there's a way of playing, and there's a way of like winning that I'm not saying you have to do it all gracefully. A win is a win. But when you systematically abuse um
The rule.
like a
A rule.
the
Yeah.
rule,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just one rule. I mean that set piece coach has intimate knowledge. I think his name's Cuevas or something like that. I can't remember.
His
Has
name is
intimate
what?
knowledge. Cuevas or something. I don't
Oh,
even know.
I thought you said Quavo. I'm like, his
Yeah.
name is what? But anyway, is
Anyway, it's Bernardo Cueva. Yeah.
yeah.
Bernardo Cueva. Anyway, the way that he's been moving is he has intimate knowledge that that is a overlooked area or an area of debate in terms of impeding a
Mm,
goalkeeper in the in the execution of a corner kick.
mm.
And yeah, that's what we're seeing. Um, I think VAR just ruined a chance to give us a historic moment.
Yeah.
Um,
Big call.
and
Big call.
yeah, it is what it is. That Arsenal has to play Burnley and Palace to win the champions or to win the title. And
Palace right before their European final too. So you know that
yeah,
Palace was like,
and they've already conceded that they're not going to start a full strength side
yeah.
because they've got bigger fish to fry. So it's it's over, and I think City's going to focus on winning the FA Cup to try and send off Pep in in on a high with the domestic double. I think Enzo Maresca will go to Manchester City. I think City might take their pick at Enzo Fernandez or any other midfielder in world football, but most likely Enzo.
Mhm.
Um, and I think Tottenham will not get relegated. I think Arsenal will win
Your
the
league.
league. Um, Liverpool will make Champions League. United is going to keep Carrick. They'll see a little bit of a regression next season with an increase in fixtures of a higher level. I'm sorry, don't at me. I just think that's what's going to happen. Um,
I'm like, dang, you're just ringing up all these all these predictions. I don't disagree with
it's
any of
dark.
these. I don't really
It's
disagree
dark.
with any of these.
Yeah, I'm not so mystic, Nelson. At this point, I mean, the writing's on the wall.
Yeah,
Monkey's out of the bottle at this point. But
yeah.
I think you know there is a chance that, that Chelsea wins the FA Cup somehow. some way. Against all odds, we make the Europa League. Javi Alonso comes. We trim the fat on our team. We sign the right players. We sign a center back to pair with Levi Colwell. We get rid of the fodder. Maybe keep Fafana because he's on stupid wages. But everybody's on a large contract, so that's why like when I look at this thing, not really. We'll keep who we want. We'll get rid of who we can. So anyway, we'll see. We'll move. I don't want to talk too much.
We move. Um, but yeah, one thing I was going to say is interesting for Palace that they play City at time of recording tomorrow, and they play Arsenal. So if they didn't have anything else to play for, they could have been real party poopers for one or the other, both. Who knows? But I mean, they don't have any Europe to worry about this week, so they will play a full squad against City, but you still expect City to come out of it. But again, um, what's his name? Gahey going back home, so
Oh yeah.
maybe he does another mistake like against Everton. Who knows? But I think every Man City and Arsenal game going forward is a must watch just to see the nerves. Last update is Ramos and his partners have I think almost officially bought Sevilla, his club, which is pretty cool. Like somebody that just finished his professional career is already a owner of a top five club like Sevilla, a historic club like Sevilla. Sevilla are battling relegation. I know the last game they played, our very own Akko Adams came off the bench and helped them score a winner in the last minute to give them the win. They are sitting at 13th right now with 40 points. Check this out in Spain. Rayo Vallecano, right? This is three more games to go, right? Rayo Vallecano is in 10th place, right? They have 43 points. 10th place, they have 43 points.
Hmm.
Girona is 18th place. They have 39 points. So there's 4 points separating 10th and 18th.
From the front page and the back page, yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
about Sevilla, like they're just 1 point. They're 13th and they're just 1 point above relegation. So they're fighting to stay in the league, and I hope for Ramos' sake that they do. Um, all right, so to close the show, IQ finish of the week. I thought Rashford's free kick was easily the best goal I saw this weekend. Hurtful for me to say, but
Yeah.
against Thibaut Courtois, that close to play it at Thibaut Courtois' angle and got the perfect height, curve, and speed to beat him. I was like,
Yeah. Snakes can't fly. Yeah.
yeah, watch out, bro. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm not going to allow you comfort. Happy birthday to Thibaut Courtois, first of all. Happy birthday to Thibaut
Mm,
Courtois, Real Madrid legend, Chelsea legend, whether you like it or not. And happy birthday in advance to Shopsy. His birthday is tomorrow.
happy
Um,
birthday.
but yeah, so Rashford. Then ball of the week. I thought again, it's painful for me to say, but Pedri was like this was the first Real Madrid versus Barcelona game in the Jude Bellingham era where I'm like, okay, this game Pedri outplayed him. That's because Real Madrid were poor, so we didn't really help Jude's case. But Pedri was running the show. Like he was, he looked like when the in pickup, like when you're playing small-sided games, and the really good um midfielder is falling deep to pick up the ball from the center backs and just had all this time to pick out a pass. That's how Pedri looked.
Yeah.
He looked
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah,
composed.
he was moving like informed Vitinha last
Yeah,
season.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
he was a joke.
I think I mean Jude has that in his locker. I
Oh yeah, for
think
sure.
again, I think you really need a Jose Mourinho to lock it to get the best out of like a house, the Gene Housen
Yeah.
and um and and then Jude
Yeah.
and a lot of other players and sell sell the players that you don't need.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be something else. I know
Let Rudiger come home, Sean.
like Carvajal is not getting a new contract, legend of the club, so he probably is living at the end of the season. Ceballos too is leaving at the end of the season. He's been a good servant. A couple of exits for sure, but we'll see
Mhm.
Camavinga, we'll see Chouameni, we'll see Brahim as well. We'll see. Um, but upcoming fixtures, we already talked about the FA Cup final, May 16th. Arsenal is playing Burnley. City is playing Palace and then Bournemouth. Um, so those are like, the key games to look out for. And obviously our IQ deep dive next week will be your Chelsea versus Man City. Hopefully it's a good one for you. I wish you all the best.
You
Um,
just don't finish me, guys. It's just the narrative changes completely if this game goes well. It goes,
yeah,
if it doesn't, then it's the season that we all thought it was, but
yeah.
or we've been preparing for. But just I'm begging. I just want to see. Give me scratch marks on Pep's bald head. Give me sips of water
You
bottles
know,
that
those
are
rapids, like,
really small ones. Yeah. Give me
those things are funny to me.
cotton mouth spit. You spit so many times that nothing's coming out. You're just going through the motions. I need that. We need that. All of us need it. Um, so and give me Callum McFarlane becoming a legend, like
The
of the likes
Mateo,
of Goose hitting, interim status.
the Mateo,
Like
right? The Mateo is
Di Matteo won the double. I think he won. Yeah, we won the FA. No, we won the FA Cup and the Champions League. I think that year. I did the
Champions League for
double.
sure. I remember
Yeah,
that.
obviously. Trying to think if we did the double. I think we did. But you know, that would be that would be something. So we'll see.
Something.
It's great to be back. What an
Welcome
episode.
back. Welcome back. Welcome back from your trip to Europe. And hopefully you come back with you come back to a trophy on Saturday. I hope for you, but so I'll be rooting for you guys.
You, you, you see this?
This is bonus
This is
footage.
There we go. That was me at the bridge. Lived it,
Bonus footage.
loved it.
Uh, all right, guys. Thank you for watching. Per usual, please subscribe, like, comment, and share in that order. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.